Imagine building an empire with the love of your life, only to realize you've become invisible in your own marriage. That's the heartbreaking reality MacKenzie Scott faced with Jeff Bezos. For years, the world thought their 2019 divorce was just about his affair with Lauren Sanchez. But MacKenzie's actions since, giving away $19 billion, tell a deeper, more devastating story. This isn't about infidelity. It's about a woman who lost herself in a man's shadow and found the strength to break free. If this tale of resilience and betrayal moves you, hit that super thanks button to keep stories like this coming. It's what keeps this channel sharing the real human side of fame. Let's dive in. You won't believe how this unfolds. It all started in 1992, in a bustling New York hedge fund office at D.E. Shaw & Co. MacKenzie Tuttle, a 22-year-old Princeton graduate with a degree in English, had just landed a job as a research associate. She'd studied under Toni Morrison, the Nobel-winning author, and her writing dreams were burning bright. But fate had other plans when she heard a laugh echoing through the walls. A laugh that belonged to Jeff Bezos, the firm's 28-year-old vice president. MacKenzie later recalled in interviews how that distinctive, boisterous laugh caught her attention. It was infectious, full of energy and optimism. Curious, she requested Jeff as her interviewer for the job, and the chemistry was instant. She said, "He was brilliant and fun," in a rare 2013 Vogue interview. Jeff, with his Princeton computer science degree and Wall Street savvy, was equally smitten. Their first date was lunch, and within 3 months, they were engaged. 6 months after that, they married in a simple ceremony in West Palm Beach, Florida. This wasn't a fairy tale of glamour and wealth. At least not yet. Jeff was earning a 6-figure salary, but they lived modestly in a 1-bedroom apartment on Manhattan's Upper West Side. MacKenzie worked as Jeff's administrative assistant initially, but her role quickly evolved. She was his sounding board, his editor, his confidant. When Jeff began dreaming of an online bookstore in 1994, MacKenzie didn't hesitate. She drove their beat-up Chevy Blazer from New York to Seattle while Jeff typed the business plan on a laptop in the passenger seat. It was an adventure, MacKenzie later wrote in her novel Traps. That adventure became Amazon. In Seattle, they set up shop in a rented garage. MacKenzie was Amazon's first accountant, handling payroll, negotiating with suppliers, and even packing books. "We were a team," a former Amazon employee recalls in a 2020 Wired article. Jeff handled the tech, MacKenzie managed the operations. They had 4 children, 3 sons and an adopted daughter from China, and MacKenzie balanced motherhood with supporting Jeff's vision. But as Amazon grew from a garage startup to a trillion-dollar giant, the balance shifted. Jeff's ambition consumed him, and MacKenzie's role became more supportive, less central. "She was the wind beneath his wings," a family friend says, but the wind doesn't get the credit. The early years were full of hardships. Amazon nearly went bankrupt in 2001 during the dot-com crash. MacKenzie stood by Jeff, encouraging him through 16-hour days and financial stress. She was his rock, Jeff said in a 1999 interview. But success brought isolation. By 2010, Jeff was the world's richest man, and MacKenzie retreated into writing, publishing The Testing of Luther Albright in 2005 and Traps in 2013. Her novels are about hidden truths, a literary critic notes. Was MacKenzie hinting at her own life? As Amazon exploded, so did Jeff's ego. The podcast we're diving into speculates. Power changes people, and Jeff wasn't immune. By 2013, Jeff launched Blue Origin, his space company, pouring billions into rockets and moonlanders. MacKenzie supported him, but friends noticed her growing quiet at events. She was always in the background, a Seattle socialite recalls. Jeff's schedule became relentless. Board meetings, TED Talks, global summits. MacKenzie raised the kids, managed their estates, and pursued philanthropy quietly.
Rumors of Jeff's midlife crisis surfaced in 2017. He started working out obsessively, appearing at events with a buff physique and designer clothes. Ex-posts with 5 million views joked, "Bezos is going full playboy." MacKenzie, elegant but understated, seemed out of place beside his image. Their worlds diverged, the podcast says. Jeff chased immortality through space. MacKenzie focused on earthly impact. By 2018, Jeff's affair with Lauren Sanchez began, but the podcast hints at deeper issues. MacKenzie felt erased, her contributions overshadowed by Jeff's legend. The January 9th, 2019 divorce announcement was polite. "We feel incredibly lucky to have found each other." But the timing was suspicious. The next day, the National Enquirer leaked Jeff's text to Lauren. "I love you, alive, girl." MacKenzie knew. The podcast speculates she timed the announcement to control the narrative. She was one step ahead, a friend leaks. The divorce cost Jeff $38 billion, but MacKenzie's silence was golden. She focused on her future.
The National Enquirer's 2019 expose wasn't just gossip, it was dynamite. Leaked texts showed Jeff's infatuation with Lauren, a TV anchor and helicopter pilot married to Hollywood agent Patrick Whitesell. "I want to breathe you in," Jeff wrote, per the report. The world gasped, but MacKenzie stayed composed. The podcast reveals the affair was the symptom, not the cause. MacKenzie had felt sidelined for years, her role reduced to wife of Jeff Bezos. Lauren, vibrant and media-savvy, represented everything MacKenzie wasn't: flashy, adventurous, in the spotlight. Jeff, post-50, craved excitement. The podcast speculates Lauren was Jeff's midlife crisis personified. MacKenzie's response? Dignity. No interviews, no leaks. She focused on her children and writing. The $38 billion settlement made her the world's third richest woman, but money wasn't the point. She wanted freedom, the host says. The affair exposed Jeff's selfishness, but MacKenzie's silence spoke volumes. She'd already outgrown him. Post-divorce, MacKenzie didn't lash out, she gave. In July 2020, she donated $1.7 billion to 116 nonprofits. By year's end, another $4.1 billion to 384 groups. In 2021, $2.7 billion to 286 organizations. By 2024, her total reached $19 billion, supporting racial justice, LGBTQ+ rights, women's shelters, education, and press freedom. The podcast notes, it's not charity, it's a statement. MacKenzie's unrestricted grants, no naming rights, no strings, empower recipients. She gives freedom, a recipient says. The podcast speculates MacKenzie knows invisibility. She funds the marginalized. Her focus on press freedom hints at the media storm she endured. Women's shelters suggest empathy for trapped relationships. It's rebellion, the host says. MacKenzie's changing her name to Mackenzie Scott, ditching Bezos and her maiden name Tuttle, declares independence. She's rewriting her story, the podcast marvels. While MacKenzie gave away billions, Jeff embraced excess with Lauren. Their 2025 Venice wedding cost $5 million, a yacht spectacle with A-listers. Ex-posts with 8 million views mocked Jeff's midlife crisis in full swing. Lauren's Brack Ops Aviation thrived, but her gold digger label stuck. The podcast contrasts. MacKenzie builds quietly, Jeff flaunts. Jeff's Blue Origin launches and Amazon expansions continued, but his image shifted. Less innovator, more playboy. MacKenzie's philanthropy earned her respect. Jeff's romance drew scorn. She's the winner, the host says. MacKenzie's 19 billion donations impact millions. Jeff's billions chase space. It's purpose versus ego, the podcast notes. MacKenzie's silence? Her ultimate power move. MacKenzie's giving isn't random. It's a response to invisibility. The podcast reveals she lost herself in Jeff's shadow.
As Amazon grew, MacKenzie's contributions faded. Jeff got credit, she got sidelined. Her novels, like Traps, hint at entrapment. The affair was the final straw, the host says. MacKenzie's philanthropy empowers the overlooked, mirroring her experience. She's saying, "I see you," a friend leaks. Her name change to MacKenzie Scott rejects both her father's and Jeff's identities. She's free, the podcast says. MacKenzie's story inspires women worldwide. Expos with 25 million views call her a phoenix. The podcast asks, did Jeff lose more than money? MacKenzie's rise shows betrayal can fuel empowerment.
MacKenzie's journey sparks debates. The podcast notes, she's a symbol of resilience. X-trends like MacKenzie Empowerment with 30 million views praise her. She turned pain into power, one post reads. Critics call her donations guilt money, but supporters see authenticity. It's not about PR, the host says. It's purpose. Jeff's image suffers. X-memes with 12 million likes dub him the ex who lost a queen. His law and romance draws scrutiny, the podcast speculates. MacKenzie's silence speaks louder than scandals. Her legacy? Inspiring women to reclaim their voice. She's not Jeff's ex, she's MacKenzie Scott, the host declares. What's her next move?
MacKenzie Scott's story is a testament to strength, leaving a billionaire, giving away $19 billion, and finding her voice. What's your take? Did the affair break her, or was it the invisibility? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I'm reading everyone. Smash that like button, subscribe, and hit the bell for more stories of triumph over betrayal. If this inspired you, show some love with the super thanks. It keeps us sharing these powerful tales. Check out our next video on Bezos' new scandal. It's a must-see. Thanks for watching, and remember, your voice matters too.